Hi, thank you for joining me. Today I have Peter Spickenagel, the CEO of Citizen Storage with me.
Hey.
Hey, Peter, thank you for coming today and sharing your time with us.
Yeah,
Would you mind sharing a little bit about Citizen Storage?
Yeah, sure. So we are a property management company. We also own a couple locations as well, but we've been doing this for quite a long time. Over my career, I've managed close to almost 100 locations, and I think it's over 5 million, 6 million square feet. Currently, our company has 11 locations in 3 states, and we are looking to grow.
That's amazing. I saw some great press coming out last week that you launched your internal call center.
Yeah, we're excited. So this is something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time, and we're excited that we finally launched the initiative. And I think the timing of it is kind of perfect based off what kind of market conditions we have right now. And we really want to make sure every lead is treated like gold and take really control of that core competency of us, which is our sales and dealing with customers.
I know Call Potential is very proud that you chose us as your solution provider for that. Would you mind, there's so many different ways that call centers can be run. Would you mind sharing a little bit of insight of how you have organized your call center operations?
Yeah, so I think some smaller companies that are, within our range, the 10 to 15, maybe 20 locations, they're always very concerned about how can they run their own internal call center. Sometimes they don't think they're going to be able to afford the staffing to answer the calls or employ the agents. And the way we approach it is a little bit different. So we don't have any dedicated call center agents at all. It is only our property manager. So every property manager, assistant property manager is an agent of ours. So we have, the 11 some properties. We got, a handful of agents, but all of them are answering all of our calls on behalf of our entire company. And so it comes with some challenges where you're, maybe a property manager is dealing with a person that just walked into their property. Maybe they have to go do their lock check or bank run. And so try to balancing who's available at any given time has been a little bit of a challenge for us, but we're figuring out, and it's working very well for us. So that's how we're structuring it, from who are our agents and how we're answering things. And it's been very successful so far.
That's wonderful. How are your managers embracing the system?
Really good. So, it's interesting. You had some people who may not have been fully on board with it, but once they realize that, they're dealing with their other fellow employees when calls are coming in versus it rolling over to a third-party call center where maybe somebody who's answering that phone doesn't know the property manager at that location. That's kind of not the case with us, because if let's say location 1 is answering a call for location 4, well, that location 1 knows location 4's manager very well. They're a fellow employee, and that familiarity between the properties has really helped us deliver a little bit better experience for our potential customers and our current customers.
Wow. That sounds great. Like the team's working with synergy and they're embracing it and supporting one another. Obviously, they know your processes because they've been on your team for so long. As the management team and operations, what are you seeing coming out of changing your call operations into a internal call center type situation?
So I think there's some positive and some negative stuff that has happened. The positive things are, the employees that are just extremely good at sales and are like our rock stars. They're excelling. We created a compensation plan for people who rent over the phone to customers that are not for their location. So again, if that location 1 answers a call and they're able to close that and rent for location 4, they're compensated for that rental at a higher rate than what they are for the ones that are at their own properties. And so we're trying to really incentivize our agents to close over the phone and lease as many units as they possibly can. Now, on the negative side, which again, I think is still kind of a positive thing for us, it really is shining a light on some of our lower performers. And so we have a very robust kind of a QA process that we're constantly listening to the calls. And again, that's through Call Potential's Performance Manager. And we're able to give feedback to those underperforming managers on saying, hey, you're not really following our script that we want. And again, our script is more of a guide, not a verbatim. You have to read this sentence word for word. But what it's really trying to do is to elevate everyone up and have accountability. So if, let's say, again, that location 4 manager hears and listens back to a call that was answered by location 1 and it was a bad call for some reason, they can call that manager and say, hey, listen, it really adds that accountability between managers itself, because last thing you want to do at your property is lose a rental, and you're listening to that lead that was just came through, and you're going to be able to call that manager and say, hey, listen, it seems like you missed X, Y, and Z on the call. We really want to make sure that we touch base on all these different things. And again, it's that peer-to-peer recognition and accountability that we're really trying to push through our company culture here.
That's a very unique approach. I'm wondering if you're having people kind of run for the phones as soon as they hear the phone ring to be able to catch that rental before someone else gets on there.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. You spoke just briefly now on company culture and jogged my memory here that I saw your name in the agenda for the Self-Storage Association coming up in Las Vegas, and you're doing a session on company culture. Would you mind kind of elaborating on it, how it, what time it is, and a little bit about what people can expect if they come to see you?
Yeah. So I just want to make sure everyone doesn't go out and party Thursday night, because you got to get up bright and early Friday morning for my session. It's at 8 a.m. We're going to be talking a lot about different programs that we use to incentivize our managers, and not only just incentivize them, but increase our sales quality, really try to drive that relationship selling. That's really important to us, that we want to connect with everyone that calls. And we're going to be talking a little bit about some of the books I read that kind of influence our company culture. One of my favorite ones is the book by the founder of Zappos called Delivering Happiness. If you guys have never read that, I highly recommend it. There's some stuff that he talks about on building his own internal call center for Zappos as they grew. And it was really interesting his approach to his design of his call center. And I really like the approach that he took. And I'm going to be talking about this in the session, is that he, after a late night of having some drinks, went back to somebody's house, and there's a group of people, and he was talking about his call center with those group of people and saying that the goal of their organization is really to help the customer in whatever they want. And so he challenged somebody at the party to call Zappos call center and order a pizza. And what was really interesting is, the person answered it, and they were kind of shocked at first, like, oh, well, okay. And they put them on hold, and then came back and actually found 5 or 6 recommendations for pizza within wherever they were, like a 5-mile radius, and gave them the contact numbers and really try to help out the customer. And that was it. And, it's an interesting approach to customer service, because I know a lot of call center metrics, everyone really cares about, average talk time. Between 2 and 5 minutes is really appropriate. And the reason why they do that is because they really have to manage their staffing appropriately to afford and keep that cost down. Because if they have average talk times go up, then their average hold times go up too, because if they have a lot of queues, that kind of increases. And they try to keep their staffing very lean. And our approach is a little bit different, because we have all of our managers as agents. We typically have more agents than what we need. And so our hold times are next to nothing. We're answering the calls within 10 seconds of them, that phone ringing. And we really want to deliver that customer service to potential clients that helps them with literally whatever they need. Maybe it's they need local movers if they they want an apartment down the road, or good restaurants because they're moving to the area. We want to deliver that level of customer service to them, and that's what we try to encourage. Now, with the session I'm doing, part of the thing that we really utilize with the call potential platform is the ability for us to review those calls. And one of the topics I'm going to be talking about is our call of the month program. And I'll just talk about high level really quick. We'll get more in depth in the session. But every month, every property manager has to pick their best call from the previous month for a lead. Not their worst, not whatever it is. It's what they think is the best call they had for the entire month of the previous month. They have to then send that to their district manager. And the district manager gets to then pick the top 4 calls out of the entire group. We post it in our internal intra-company communication platform. We use a free version of Slack, and we have a channel just dedicated to call of the month. And then everyone gets to vote out of the top 4 who had the best call, and that person who wins gets a gift certificate. And it's a gift certificate or a debit card to a specific restaurant. It's never cash value. It's always to a movie diner. And the reason why I do this, I want to deliver an experience to the person who wins versus just cash. Yeah. So that's why it's a specific thing. Now, it's a very high level approach to both. The way we look at it is saying, hey, the manager is now self-evaluating themselves based off of the benchmarks that we've already defined it. So we have a document saying, hey, if your call matches all these things on our criteria, it's considered a great call. So they're self-evaluating. And then when they submit it to their district manager, the district manager then gets to hear what is their best call. Now, it could be a horrible call, and the district manager, and they think that their best call. So then that flags it for the district manager to get them with retraining and say, hey, this is definitely not your best call. And so it's a very complicated approach to that. It may seem simple at the top, but it creates that peer-to-peer recognition. They get rewarded by everyone voting on the best 4. Every month, our managers hear 4 great calls and are able to pick up on tips and how to overcome objections on that, and then they're rewarded with it. And then also on the other side of it, on what I call areas of opportunity, then the district manager can get those people who have those areas of opportunity to improve with the right person, with our trainer, and get them better. And being able to do this now from not only the first ring to the property, but any calls that roll over into the call center, we're hopefully going to be able to increase the quality of all the calls that come in.
Wow. What I love that you're having them pick their best call to give to the district manager, so the district manager is not having to listen to thousands of calls to find the best one, or relying on a random process. So that is fantastic and a great piece of information for them. One of the things that you have always been, preaching on, which I, as someone who really cares about culture of employees and teams, that you preached on, is that managers are so isolated at their locations. What are some of the things that, like this program that you're doing, to kind of bring them together so they feel more connected?
Yeah, so we have weekly conference calls, which probably is anything out of the norm. Almost every company does that, but we really want to empower our managers to feel like they're a part of something bigger and are able to improve the company. And so the call of the month is one of the ways that we do it, but there's another program we initiated called a Sherpa Climber program. And if you've ever seen any documentaries about Mount Everest, Sherpas are the experts that guide the climbers up Mount Everest. And these are the guys that set the ladders, they know the routes, they are experts on everything that there is climbing that mountain. Right. And so what we've done is taken that kind of approach where you have a guide and somebody who's looking to achieve a certain goal or get to the peak of what they're trying to accomplish, is that we'll then select a couple topics. So let's say it's sales, maybe it's collections, maybe it's auctions, whoever is really good in that category. And we evaluate it, and the district manager identifies those individuals. They become the Sherpa for that district. So let's say it's auctions. They're experts at the auction procedure, and they are then be partnered up with people who need improvement in that area. So you have a Sherpa who is the Sherpa for the entire quarter. We reevaluate every quarter. And the district manager and our district trainer and our assistant district manager identify the individuals that need improvement or have areas of opportunity to improve in those specific areas. And then they partner up with the Sherpa on that topic. And the Sherpa then helps that individual improve on that specific aspect of our operations. And again, what that does is it gives recognition for top performance. You may be an expert on auctions, but need improvement on sales. So you can be a Sherpa at one category and a climber in another. And what it does, it really, again, spreads out that responsibility among all our staff, makes them feel like they're part of something bigger than just, hey, I'm sitting on a property, I got to worry about my property's numbers only. And especially with the call center now, they're not thinking just their location, right? They're thinking company-wide, because they're trying to achieve something more than just the performance of their property. It's to try to improve the overall experience that our customers get. It's trying to improve the skill sets of our other employees, and it really, helps, I think, the entire company.
Wow, that is really, really interesting and impactful. And it also, I feel like it would have the Sherpas pay more attention to what they're a Sherpa at. Like every time something about auctions comes out, I'm gonna read that and I'm gonna continue to be the expert in that. That is really cool.
Yeah, and honestly, that actually happens where they say, hey, here's an idea how we improve this, right? Because if you say, hey, you're an expert at something, that's going to encourage you to stay the expert at something, right? And give them that recognition. And so, absolutely. So if it's maybe a salesperson or a sales category, maybe let's say, hey, let's try this, or same thing, auction. Let's, there's a new initiative, or we should try this, or we should change our procedures here, or whatever it is. It really does help.
Empower is the perfect word. Thank you for sharing. Since I did mention you're going to be at the Self Storage Association Las Vegas show for 2023 coming up, are you exhibiting?
Yeah.
And what is your booth number?
Yeah, so we're going to be on the trade show floor, I think towards the back of the trade show, but we're going to be on one of the ends of one of the aisles. The booth number is 668. So we're going to have a big, bright, shiny booth. So hopefully come find us. We have some sunglasses and flip-flops to hand out. So if you're looking for somebody to manage your property and take a vacation, we'll get you going with at least some sunglasses, flip-flop first. But come visit us. We'd love to talk to you. If you want a review of the performance of your existing property, we're giving away some free reviews here where we'll analyze what's going on in your property. We'll say, hey, here's some room for improvement on these different categories, and kind of give you some feedback if you need help with your current operations, because we want to help the industry, and we're happy to have those conversations.
Awesome. And Peter, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in hopefully a couple weeks, and also at the show. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to Peter or myself directly. And we look forward to seeing you and hearing from you. So
yeah, absolutely. And if you guys have any questions about how we utilize call potential in our unique way, we would love to have that opportunity to talk to you about it too. And we just I think it's probably the best solution that we have in this industry if you want to do your own internal call center.
Thank you, Peter.
All right.
Thank you very much.